thank you, Helen, my goddess, because she's published me. And thank you very much, Patrick. This is so exciting to be invited to read here, this renaissance of an iconic place. I'm really very pleased. I just hope I can see, because I don't know.
We can have slightly less ambient atmospheric lighting. I can turn a light on.
I've printed it all out very large, but...
Let me do that.
Are you happy standing, Gillie?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes, thank you. That's
Lights on.
that's quite a lot. It doesn't need to be that much, but that's fine.
Is that all right? Because I'll see you've seen them.
So I realise now that I should have brought, I have quite a lot of poems about theatre, which I haven't brought, strangely enough. But the first one I have here is in the nature of a found poem, seeing that this is found and a found theatre and so forth. This was actually in my sister's guest book in an apartment that she rents out. It's taken from that, virtually word for word, but obviously edited. So it's called Guest Book Entry. I must be quick, they're parking on a double yellow line. I had a very comfortable stay, but my husband thought the mattress hard and gave it as the reason why he snored. I found the pillows insufficient for their task, but thank you for the clever bedside lamp, so easy to use in the dark, and the decent-sized wardrobe with lock. The kitchen knives were somewhat blunt. Luckily, the heavy coffee grinder was efficient, though eventually it broke. I apologise for the stain on the attractive bedside rug. I was grateful for the abundance of clean towels, some of which I disposed of in a purple plastic bag provided for non-recyclable rubbish Thursdays. I appreciated all the phones, on which I made many calls. The flat is so convenient for the doctors at number 32. Please ask the non-English speaking maid if she removed a pair of green rubber gloves from the bedroom. That was all from one really long picture. What happened to her husband? This one is in the book, and it's called Once Was King. I think the other one was in the book as well. And it's my Elvis Presley poem. I was a huge, huge fan of his early work, shall we say. So this is, camera eyes squeeze him, sweating between the hottest girls and lights hammering on every pore, every slick of hair and flick of lip and brow, baking from sweltered black leather sessions in the circled adoration. It's a wrap, and into the desert, breathe silent tumbleweed, animates the dark, headlights probe the unseen, mile after lunar mile, silver his nerves, lullaby him, nodding along to no radio on, no white noise, crowd noise. Sees a spotlight in the distance, normal space for him to be, so closer he pulls over, unfolds and shakes himself, oh, famous shake, turns his collar up to post-army hair and moves forward into the raw, occupies the conical familiar, white blind, light blind, punches a little macho acknowledgement, thank you very much, thank you. Looks round for the mic, and sees something snaking down from above, reaches to take it, all shook up. He rises up over the crowd, disappears into the dazzle, coup de théâtre, what a show! The roar increases. Spacecraft closes its loading bay and slow exits at first, then warps away. Elvis has left the building. Back in the desert strip, flashing lights through gold and gambled, junk-filled nights, probed and polished, over-pumped and dribbling with rhinestones, sacred sweat from jet-black hair oils the inside of the wired collar of his Superman suit. Stretches one hand, one kneed, feed for the one-armed bandits. He's so cute, matrons, year after eyesore year, bloated, glasses, cartoon cape, able only to parody, while lying still, wired to an alien gurney, somewhere in space. And he did definitely disappear. This is called Mumbai Acrobat. I was born and brought up in Bombay, as it was then, still is. And there are a lot of street dwellers, and visiting it once, not when I was living there was this little boy doing the most amazing things, and so this is really about him. The boy dwells in a glitzy part of town, on the pavement. His few belongings placed in front of a sari emporium. Perfume shoppers drift around where he, head bent, squats over fine card, traced lines on old card, maybe a sum for schoolwork, judging by his frown of involvement. Now he leans from the waist, scores the penciled line he's drawn. This is no toy to pass the time in mild contentment. Holding a thin cane braced against his toe, he runs a thumb along, carefully slices down with clear intent, the stacked halves neatly spaced and graded. Quietly he hums, while ravelling old string, a filmy tune, a sweet lament of longing to be graced with love and fortune, slow to come. He holds a cut-out figure, nearly done. With rusted point he pierces limbs encased in cardboard motley, monochrome. Then colours in the shape he's drawn, joins each segment and strings the arms, both chased with intricate designs and hung between two split bamboos, stretch sewn to skillfully invent an acrobat, springily laced to swing and tumble, fly away from home. Oops, I'll leave that there. This is quite a recent one, which was actually inspired by my sister's dog, who tends to eat the weirdest things, but it's not about my sister's dog. It's called Provided. Afterwards, the animals did well. There was a lot of available flesh for a while, and for a while it was quickly refreshed by not quite survivors, who fatally fell where they stood, and where they stood became a stench even the beasts couldn't bear to smell, even for food. The full effects were hidden at first. They turned on each other and fed for a while, and for a while a few were led by killer instincts, unquenchable thirst for blood. For blood there was, until it reversed. Such desiccated bodies were no good, even for food. The brave and desperate nosed the piles of debris, poured them cautiously and licked for a while. And for a while, ingesting made them sick. Hunger evolved, took pebbles and nails even for food. They hacked and heaved, regurgitated sticks and ate them again and again. They couldn't fail. They understood they had to eat what earth provides. Not much was left of plenty, gone for a while. For a while they broke their teeth on stone, swallowed bits of metal, died where they stood. But some still stood, determined, tried and died again, until it changed for one, and rotting wood became the first food to sustain their lives. Then rock and rusted metal followed for a while, and for a while tortured each swallow. Survival, synonym for pain, even for food. They survived, and for their lives regained, they made stones sacred, ringed and hallowed where they stood. Now, I wrote this before the current film came out, because when I was little, I adored Wonder Woman. Now, this was a very, very long time ago, when she was in quite a different guise from the one she's in now. And then, after I wrote this, Wonder Woman, the film, the movie, came out. This is called Wonder Woman Discovers Her Gills. Unfluffy princess in starry shorts, not flying, but leaping up on currents of air, reading the thermals, lariat glowing at her hip, strong and fearless. 7 years burned beneath my own black hair. I leapt underwater to fly, sputtered up after my distance expired, fled to the edge of safety, believing hostile air would drown me, until I surfaced too far, not drowning, but floating. Half relinquished by the glassy green, I rolled up to glaring blue, and back to the supporting deep. Soared down into currents of power, reading the thermals until breath ran out through new discovered gills. And this is also fairly recent, and is called Fingernails Can't Take the Strain. Close your eyes only to blink. You need to clock your route, not because you want to mark the way back. This is a red-eye ride. You may not know where you're going, that ambiguity ahead of you, slow-mo opening onto something beautiful or suffocating. Take your pick of which eye to use, its own perspective, colour, depth. Tilt your head to see what stretches, what curves. Slide on the saddle. This jolting can't be good for the spine. Take care not to grip your fingers into your mud. You might draw blood. Whatever that was that falling behind messily. Don't look back. Tense your thighs to stay forward. Never be gentle with yourself. You may be water on stone. I'm beginning to feel like Eric Morecambe with these glasses. Back up. It won't stay. This is based on something that actually did happen to me. It was a very strange thing. Some of you, I'm sure, have heard this before. It's called Bridge. Rat running past Euston in an open-windowed night, I slowed to let a young man cross my path. Tall and graceful, a shadowed, slightly feral face, clad all in black from broad-brimmed hat to shoes, a cape around his shoulders, eyes like fireflies in a cage. He ran with an empty luggage trolley, too late for any train. I drove south to the river and turned across the bridge, the echoing sweep of the Thames, broken lights on water, gulping and bubbling, past buildings with veiled eyes and high architraves, aloof but listening. The sounds of London stepped out of their usual dimension, tipped delicately forward and called across the clicking air. And here he was once more running across my path, the black-clad figure, firefly eyes and feral flash of teeth, still pushing an improbable empty trolley. He tipped his hat and loped away. I watched him go and wondered how he was here before me, how he straddled the river, why we might meet again. It did happen. 'Twas death, but not for me. And I think this is really a very strange poem. I don't know where it came from. We also did do it in, it was run by groups about spaces in a house, but it wasn't written for that. And but I thought it was a good one because people don't usually write about privy. And this was really inspired by a place in the middle of the jungle in India. Privy. At the top of the palace, I found a heavy wooden door which opened easily. I had to pause in delight to study more closely the fabulous bestiary portrayed in its carving. Beyond it lay a high chamber where motes of dust stirred lazily in daylight trapped up near the ceiling, filtered through an unglazed transom. At the far end, a gallery angled away from me into a marble watering room, with alcoves and baths like forest pools. Geckos and spiders, frescoed walls inlaid with myriads of small mirrors, and intricate borders of jade and lapis lazuli. This bathroom was carbuncled on the building, the privy clasped to it like a jewel. 3 steps led up to a throne of rosewood and green jasper. As I took my place, I saw directly beneath me the impasto of jungle canopy exploded by brilliant bloom. Painted creatures surrounded me to the height of my shoulders. Above them, a lattice opened to the cool upper air. Unfamiliar birds dipped past me into amber space. The roof, pierced with semi-precious stones, scattered colours to soothe the cruel colic, harmonies that could heal the weakest body cramped round an ailing bowel. Such mysteries were gathered there within the hole. I shut my eyes and voided all my pain into the bowl. This is called Under the Garden, and nothing really more to say about it than that. She drew back the curtain. The growing green world reached out towards her and tapped at the glass. She opened the casement, but who was invited? Breath from beyond, or the body within? Caressing her cheek, small green shoots unfurled tight spirals, fresh as new morning grass. Touched on her brow and her lashes, alighted butterfly soft on her humming skin. Sun-warmed and loosening tendrils curled, flickering, seeking a way to pass into shadow behind her ear, delighted the nape of her neck with a shiver of sin. Wrapped close about her, the greenery whirled her around and about in a deadly volte-face, tightened about her body, excited an agonized breathing, an uncertain grin. Now under the garden she lies, her hair pearled and plaited with creepers, dry fallen and sparse. Among their small bones with her loves reunited, all cold in the clay, they are kith, they are kin. Skip on. This is called Cheer Up, Love, It Might Never Happen. You know how annoying it is when you're walking along and saying, cheer up, love, it might never happen. You know it has to. Anyway, it's not quite that good. So, cheer up, love, it might never happen. Except you are a chrysanthemum leering over the wall I walk beside. So it has. Here is an over-pollarded tree suffocating in plastic, punching its outline for air. Here is a branch, rigid, dead, broken. How do I not weep at the sight of this small body, strewn in the path before the storm which will break so many others? Only a branch, my love. Only a branch in the brain's topography. Promises are powerless. It may not be okay. I can't wait for the next morning glory to blow my mind clear of dread. So hold me up to the light. Check my transparency against the original blueprint. Decide. This is called Old Vines. Smashed panes let in the weather, but it watered your tattered garments, your roots. Unfamiliar lichens staunched your wounds. Microscopic life cracked into your brickwork, forced it to let go. Allow the incomers to festoon you in gold and green. And the last of the vines burst out of hiding, tendrils supplicating. You accepted the offerings. Wild geraniums, agrimony, mallow. The squatters chained you with daisies. Now your crumbling spaces are crowded and daubed with colour. You lean against the old wall, listen to the gossip, and flaunt your finery at the ancient trees across the valley. And nearly there, folks. And so I pray. Peril paints the horizon and thuds into the ground while I butter my toast. My soulmates slide to the edge of life. I have no shield to hold over the beloved. No echo returns from the future. Then the sun turns a dirty London corner and conjures a luminous cityscape from cracks in the concrete. Neglected crannies fill with incandescent dust. Radiance flickers over unsettled faces. So I pray to give the dead the love they deserved, to inhabit, like a hoverfly, my own speck of heaven. For my cat to hurry slowly towards me, my man to touch me for no reason, for the ocean, for the air, for the restoration of love. I think it's still okay to give you the last syllable, which is self-portrait, as crow. Old grey crow with crooked wing leans her comedy into the window recess, enjoys a zephyr plumage messing, splaying the deep blue-black playing over her back before it blows the scene. Her eye opens, scans for the next one, rippling trees in that direction. Here it comes. She opens her beak, swallows the ticklish air, croaks in pleasure, step changes claw to claw, shivers uneven wings for more, takes off in falling fashion, ungainly, into gainly flight. Not much left but feather fustian, and the questionable joy of far, far sight, clear peering into future and past. The ever-present present cannot last, but makes good company, follows with petty pace tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. And I'm going to finish with Helen's favourite, because she's got here in spite of her husband being very ill today. I wasn't going to read it if you weren't here. This is Starlight. Paint stars on the inside of my coffin. Let it be lightly woven to welcome the evening breeze. Lay me in feathers and memories, strewn with petals and rosemary. But do not burn or bury me. Carry me on a moonless night to an ocean brimming with starlight. Leave a window above my face opening on the vault of space. Walk with me through the shallows, where little fish shall bind me in rainbows. Float me to the reef wall, and let me fall through peaceful shoals of manta rays into the sway of darkness. Thank you very much.